Hello to the two viewers. We're having some difficulties at the minute. You don't even know my voice. I'm Jake_March2005. I'm a VRL F2 racer. Alex will be here in a minute. He can't get into the lobby, so I'm just going to have to carry this the best I can for the meantime. There's now 5 of us. The Baku City Circuit's a wonderful track. These are the very best drivers, and this will be a very interesting qualifying session. Not much happening at the moment. Alex is here.
Hiya. I assume the stream has started, so welcome all.
It has.
I'm experiencing a few technical difficulties. I will do my best to resolve that, but nevertheless welcome. I'm sure Jake has introduced you, and looking forward to a crazy race here at Baku, Jake. We know, going off yesterday in F2, that it can be quite carnage. It can throw a lot of stipulations at the drivers, and I expect today to be absolutely no different.
And it can also be quite heartbreaking, as I lost a podium to a disconnect yesterday, which is always very fun.
Hopefully the same doesn't happen today.
Yeah.
So, as I say, whilst I try and resolve my issues, I think Jake, thankfully standing in today, is going to do the best he can to cover, and hopefully we'll be all sorted quite shortly. What's going on at the track, Jake?
Yeah, at the minute we've got a few cars out on the right laps. Me and Virus will be the first to set a lap. 16 viewers already, which is more than I've ever had in a stream before, so hello to everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and go on board with Beams. Virus will be the first. He's a F2 as well, I think, in F1, so that's interesting. Pretty much every car out on track now. Only Air Racing, Benjamin, Wolfix Deeper, Nico and IGK Zach in the pits. Benjamin, championship leader I believe, got pole last week.
Indeed he did.
And I'm a big fan of Benjamin in other leagues that I've watched before. And I believe he'll be my favourite for pole today. But this is of course a very different circuit to Bahrain.
Of
Long
course,
straights.
of course.
And unique to pretty much any of the track, because unlike most street circuits, it's pretty low downforce in the setup, so much easier to crash. It means Virus is going to be the first onto a lap, then using all of the track at turn 1. Let's go on board with him. Nice and easy on the power. I'm imagining pole will be a very high 36, maybe a low 37 if no one gets perfect laps. He gets a little bit of a toe off the slow Alfa Romeo into turn 3. Stares off the curb, locks up a little bit, but that's not going to cost him. He uses all the track pretty neat so far. As he comes to the end of the first sector, he is going to be purple because he's the only one to have set a time so far into the chicane. Another little lock up second gear. Brakes there, and that's going to cost him time. Not as tidy as he could have been as he now enters the tightest part of the track. Gets as close as he can to this curb, but he misses the apex and he's nearly hit the wall, and that's that lap pretty much over for him. The Alfa Romeo behind him is only on an out lap, and then you have... Oh, and he spun! The Haas of VNM Directos. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, has spun, and that's...
Me and Jackson had the same issues last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously very common, as you mentioned, low downforce, but the walls are ever near, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see, a handful of cars just nicking the front wing on a wall around it, especially in the infamous castle section.
Definitely. VRT Karim is on a lap at the minute. I think he's going to be the first to set a properly valid lap as he goes purple through the middle sector, and the final sector is just one big long straight, which, as someone provided for me earlier, is 2.2 kilometers long, which is the longest flat-out zone on the F1 calendar. The Alfa Romeo behind him is going to get a nice slipstream. Mean Virus of 38.9, which is not, I think, going to be a challenge of a pole. VRT Karim straight away with a 37.3, laying down the marker that these are indeed the best drivers in the world on this game. IGK Gwil is going to be the next to set a lap. Last season champion, I believe.
Of course, defending champion.
Are you in the lobby yet, Alex, just out of interest, or are you still
I'm not, I'm still trying to resolve that, but Gil, I'm following on the live stream. Gil, reigning champion, had a really poor time last time out, only finishing, well, he didn't finish race, qualified 13th, yeah. He's gone up to 5th.
Benjamin only second on his first lap, but still a very good time.
Marginally ahead of his teammate, so it's Karim at the moment, last season's F2 champion, currently on pole, after most of the first runs going through.
IGK Zach, I think, is going to be the next to cross the line in the Williams. Everyone really will be disappointed if they don't get at least into the 1 minute 37s here. I'm expecting a few of the very quick ones will want to get to the 36. IGK Zach at 37.6, but some third fastest for the minute. Not a bad banker lap at all. The Ferrari of Wool thinks Dieppe. That's not a great middle sector, it looks like. I don't think this is going to be a competitive lap across the line. 11th fastest, but nowhere near the pole position times at the minute. And then LR Nico has set a purple middle sector at 13.8 through there. And will this be ahead of Kerem? Put the pressure on the AlphaTauri driver. Opens the DRS, lap over the line. Which is 210 mile an hour to 37.8. It was a good middle sector, but perhaps the rest of the lap not so perfect. I don't believe there's anyone else. Now it's difficult to get 2 laps out of the tyres here at this track.
Of course, because naturally very abrasive on the rear tyres with the low speed corners spinning up.
Yeah.
And of course in F1 this season, no assists allowed for the first time in VRL Tier 1. No one's running traction control. If you spin up the tyres, not only will you wear them down, but you'll also overheat them, which can be a big problem come the race.
Another thing with this track is there's actually very little stress on the front tyres. There's not many, like, those sort of corners, high load corners, which means you have such an imbalance between the front and rear tyres, which makes driving it, especially in the latter stages of a stint, very difficult. So we can expect mistakes and safety cars in this race.
Of course, safety cars ever near. What sort of strategy do you think the drivers will be looking at?
That's a good question. Well, yesterday there was a large advantage to starting on the medium tyres. There was 3 cars yesterday in VRL F2 who started on medium tyres. There was me, Lady, who ended up finishing second, and then Brady Pollock, who had wing damage unfortunately. But what we saw is those medium tyres go so long, and with all the carnage of the guys pitting on the hard tyres, you're able to pull a gap and then compete. And Flady switched to soft tyres right at the end and ended up finishing P2. I would have been P4 were it not for fate or something. Then again, people want to qualify well here because it can be very easy to be separated off from the main pack at a track like this, because through large parts of the lap it's very difficult to overtake, and yet DRS trains are still very plenty due to the long straights. But if one car ahead of a train makes a mistake, it's going to hold you up the whole way through the technical part of the lap, lose ground to the car ahead, and suddenly you'll find yourself 2 or 3 seconds ahead of the lead pack. So you've got to be careful. Doing the very best I can here at the minute. Not too many.
You've summed that up perfectly, Jake.
Yeah.
We've thrown you in at the deep end here, debuting on VRL commentary, me not able to get in the lobby. I promise I'm working as hard as I can. But,
that's alright. I apologise to the stream if I'm not finding the laps here, but I've got an awful lot to do and I'm not used to having to show the stream. The picture, 26 viewers already. We've got some comments. I don't really know what they are.
Welcome everyone. I'll side through the comments quite quickly.
Racing.
Hot lap mode, saying fast lap from Kerem. I have to say, Kerem's looking quite strong in the early stages of this qualifying session.
He's a very quick driver. 2 VRT guys top at the minute. I think they're strong contenders for pole. Tim Wentnick will want to be up there as well. Harry was quick last week. VRT Luke, another very fast guy. These are just the ones, of course, that I'm aware of. I've watched this league for a while, but don't know it as well as some of the viewers here, so I apologise. A lot of people on an outlap. Kerem's invalidated his outlap. It's actually quite difficult to get ones at this track, especially when you're used to driving it. So penalties at this track will probably drop you down lots of positions, although that is the case in pretty much any race in a league as close as this.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect too many penalties for the drivers, but if you're looking at a place to pick up penalties, you'd be looking at that left-hander just at the end of Sector 2 where most drivers opt to hop over the curb. If you use too much curb, either you're getting a warning or you're getting spit out into the barrier, so yeah. It's a balancing act, but that's really the only place that the drivers are necessarily in risk of getting a warning. Maybe on the exit of turn 1 if they get a little bit too greedy, but I wouldn't expect that too much from drivers of this caliber.
We're going to go on board with Kerem for this lap then, the current provisional pole sitter into turn 1. using absolutely all of the track, choosing to use the inside curve and then getting it pretty neat towards turn 2, brakes as late as he can, no lock up on the inside into third gear and flat out on the power. It looked pretty neat through there. We'll see how the first sector split looks. He's got a car ahead of him that might give him a slipstream towards the end of the lap, but at the same time might block him through the middle sector. Little lock, we're going to see everyone do that into the very tight, very understeery. Turn 3 is IGK Gwil retires from the session, and that's on track as well, I believe, which is not good. Last season's champion struggled last week, and he's now crashed out all through the chicane, and that's going to ruin Kerem's lap as well. So
has he made a
disappointing
mistake,
for him.
Jake?
Yeah, he spun at the chicane. Sorry for not picking that up on stream. Would seem to have hit too much curb and rather spun. We're switching to wheel, I believe, is what he's done, and it's a very difficult transition. Very easy to lose it on the power there, but that is pretty much going to fix him to the back of the grid because he didn't have a competitive time. Kerem is still pushing on this lap, I believe, even though he was blocked a little bit by that. We'll see how much curb he uses here. Wow, right on the edge, and he's hit the wall. And that's what happens if you're a bit too aggressive over that curb.
As I said, just pick that up on the stream, Jake. So easily to do. The thing is with that corner, it's like it being in between a rock and a hard place. You can go conservative and get through, lose a couple of tenths, or you can really run the risk A, invalidating lockdown, as I said, B, as displayed by VLT Kerem, ending up in the wall, and that can cost you massively in the race. And I would not be surprised at all if we see 2, 3, 4 cars put it in the wall throughout the 26 laps here at Baku.
We saw a lot of mistakes, including myself and I think a few others yesterday making that mistake. It's just so unpredictable, that curve as well. You could be half an inch wider than you'd usually be, and you'd hit the wall. VRT Benjamin on a lap. I've been watching this for a while, can't really tell if he's pushing a lot hard. He's going to use the curve into third gear there. That looked pretty neat. It is second split to spit. He's actually 2 tenths up at the minute, and I think that this is going to be a pole contender lap, especially he's going to have a brilliant slipstream from his teammate Tim Wentnick. These are very good teammates. We saw Benjamin get a lovely tour on the back straight at Bahrain last week on his way to pole, and this is going to be a very good lap indeed. Tim is going to pit, I think, here. Benjamin is going to use everything he's got to the line, across the line. It's a 36.9, a brilliant lap. 4 tenths ahead of the next car.
And credit where credit is due to the second driver, Tim. Yeah. He's really helping Ben mount a championship challenge. Let's not forget Tim, still searching for his first win in VRL history. I know there's a lot of people, both in the chat, in the league, in other leagues, rooting for Tim because he certainly deserves it. People that have watched for a long time since Season 3, Season 4, got so tantalisingly close, but never really able to capitalise. Never really able to make it work when it matters. Almost a Nico Hulkenberg story, but this time for the top step of the podium. But I do hope, I really hope that for the sake of Tim, he can put it right this season. And he's certainly got the pace. And going up with a teammate like Benjamin, I think Mercedes are a very, very strong shot for the championship in F1.
They seem to be very good friends as well, which is always a good part.
Of course.
Willing to work together. That's already going to be a very difficult lap to beat. The 2 tenths in that final sector he gained at least from the slipstream.
That might cause a bit of a predicament for Ben in the last run, because a lot of drivers opt to go to the full push. The track's at its best, of course, unless it starts raining, which, given by what I can see on the stream, I don't think it will.
No,
unless it starts raining, the track's going to get rubbered in. It's not going to be huge. You're not going to find a second, but you might find a 10th. And if you find a 10th in the track, and you just all together put together a better lap, maybe some drivers are taking fuel out the cars, maybe switching to a fresh set, you can find a couple of tenths, and all of a sudden, if Ben's not able to improve on the best track possible, that could harm him. However, I do think his final sector will be pretty insurmountable.
We've got a slow Alfa Romeo in the final sector. He's just warming up the tyres. Harry B R25 even. He was a contender for the win last week until he spun out, I believe. So he's definitely got a shot at pole. Down towards turn 2. We saw Kerem and Benjamin both go through here very quickly indeed. Braking just after the 100 metre border, because no racing line here, so very easy to miss your braking point at that corner. Brings the car to the left, avoids this inside curb, and then up into third gear, flat out, brings it again over to the right, to the corner where CRG Gwil spun. Does he opt to use the inside curb? He does, into third gear. Pretty neat so far. very, very easy corner to go deep at, this one here. And he goes a little bit deep, but he'll get away with it. As tight as you can to the castle section, which he is. That's pretty much inch perfect through there. The Alfa Romeo gets nicely out of the way. That's a corner that's occasionally used to invalidate a little bit of wheel spin, which catches him out, but he won't lose too much time on the long run down to the most difficult corner on the track, I think, and the one where we may see lots of people lose it. He uses all the curb he can, but a bit too much, and he invalidates the lap.
As I said, there's the rock in the hard place.
Definitely.
It's all about getting it completely right, and Harry not able to do that. You know, you say he's certainly an outside contender for pole. I don't disagree with you, but he's had a very quiet session so far. Currently sat on a 38.0. That's only about 1/10 quicker than the lap time I sat yesterday, which was good enough for 10th in F2.
Yeah.
So I do really get the feeling that a lot of drivers have a lot of time in the bag, especially Kerem, because he hasn't had a run in about 10 minutes, because obviously he hit the wall. So the track will have done a lot of rubbering in. Again though, as I said, the final sector of Benjamin's going to be very hard to beat.
Yeah, VRT Luke even, that's his session done. He's not going to get another lap in. 4th place with 1:37.6. It's a lot quicker than I can go, but he might be a little bit disappointed with that. Tim Wentnick is the next, I'd say, pole contender on a lap at the minute. Brakes in a second gear, little lockup. We're seeing pretty much every driver do that. You can get away with it. Again, stares off the curb into 3rd gear on the power, no wheel spin at all. IGK Zach also starting a lap. We'll have a look at his. Little characters. Luke has retired from the session, so has Nolan Lambert, so IGK Quill isn't going to start last, but 16th is still not exactly where he would want to be. The pretend Jarno Watmere has gone deep at turn 1. That's his qualifying over. LR Nico, as an AlphaTauri of Kerem, starts his lap. I think this Alfa Romeo is going to be the first car to set his final lap of the session. Haas gets out of the way. It's going to be a very easy corner to mess up as well, because that inside curb again can be ridiculous. There's a lot of very difficult curbs at this track, very high curbs, easy to lose the car. I didn't see his middle sector split, but I don't believe it was purple. Jarno Watmere's retired from the session. Am I calling him Jarno Watmere, or I can't remember what you did last week?
We should call him Watmere. I would like to clarify, it's not the F1 sport.
As LR Nico goes second with a 37.3, so good lap from him. As Kerem's 3/10 down, and you're not going to make that up. He's got to make 7/10 up, and I don't think he's going to in the final 2 sectors. Unless IGK Zach as Tim Wentnick retires, I think Benjamin's got pole.
Kerem's battle now shifts from with Benjamin, with Nico for the second row, and IGK Zach, of course.
IGK Zach. Yeah, IGK Zach's 2/10 up. He's going to get onto the second row. He doesn't have that slipstream across the line. A 37.0 is still a very good time to be only a 10th off Benjamin. And you've got to remember that Benjamin had that 2:10 slipstream as a very good lap. But I think this man is now going to be the pole sitter. He got pole and won the first race, and he's going to get pole here. 37 viewers here to watch him.
Let's keep an eye on Kerem though. Let's keep an eye on Kerem. Let's see what he's doing.
He's across the line now. The session's over. He doesn't improve. He actually did well to get 3/10 back, but he made a mistake in the first sector. Yeah, as Benjamin retires, did he crash on track? He did. But thankfully it's not going to mean too much. But it proves that anyone can make mistakes here. As LR Nico's going to be the last car to cross the line.
I think he might be on an in-lap, because his ERS is off. You know, the last driver on the lap is Luke and Nick, I believe, down in 11th, trying to break into the top 10.
Oh yeah, didn't see him, but he's invalidated his lap. Which is a shame, because he was 4/10 up through the middle sector. We'll just wait for LR Nico to cross the line, and that's the grid. I presume I'll have to call the start since you're not in the lobby. So
if you could give me an invite right now, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, I will do. I'll send you a couple. Oh, I apologise for the blue screen.
Thing from Kerem, because you had the feeling after the first runs he not had it in the bag. Let's not jump the gun, but you know, maybe he was in a good position.
Definitely. So the grid for this race: VRT Benjamin once again starts on pole. IGK Zaki is second. LR Nico is third. VRT Karim is fourth. Luke is fifth. Tim Wetnick is sixth. Opmir is seventh. Memes Virus is in eighth. Harry B, potentially the odd one out, down in ninth. And there's Marcus Thole in 10th. The sixth row is Luke and Nick 20 and Wolfix Dipera. Ace 477 is 13th. AV Racing is 14th. Then it's VNM Draketos and IGK Gwil, and the other Alfa Romeo, of which I've forgotten the name, at the back of the grid. I apologise to him. Did you get the invite?
I did. Still unable to join, so I think I'm calling it through the live stream for today.
But it's raining.
Is it raining? It's raining.
Yeah, it is raining. It's not going to be full wet conditions, but that is definitely intermediate. So I wonder if people were running wet setups, having seen that.
I was going to say the track wasn't necessary. Not the track. The drivers weren't necessarily putting in them big, bold lap times I was expecting, as you mentioned, high 36s.
Oh, VRT Ballon has joined a little bit late once more.
Once again.
Yeah. He would definitely have been a race winner contender, but he's not going to get in time.
I don't think he was scheduled to seat today. He might just be on race engineer duties.
Ah, perhaps. So are you calling the start through the stream?
I think I'm going to trust you with it, because there's a bit of a delay, Jake, and I don't want to call anything wrong. I put complete trust in you to wait for the drivers to load in.
I've never start in my commentary before, so this will be a first for me. But
it's the first time for everything.
Yeah.
But rain at Baku, I mean, if Baku wasn't crazy enough anyway, if you want evidence of that, go and watch VRL Season 3 Baku, and then come back to me, and then go and watch VRL Season 4 Baku. And now we're here for Season 5, and it's wet, so I can only imagine this is going to be fireworks. Benjamin
comes a very important formation lap now as well to warm these tyres up.
Of course it does. And it's all about how much practice have these drivers done in the wet. Remember, no line for the first time this season. A lot of these drivers aren't necessarily quite accustomed to driving with no racing line on. So, how are they gonna feel out the conditions?
I think that turn 3 is going to be a big place to watch, because it's easy to go deep there anyway, and in the wet conditions.
Turn 2 as well, I think people might get a little bit excited and send one and shoot one off down the inside, but I'm still absolutely perplexed at the performance of Gil. It's such a shame. He's such a nice guy, Gil. And he did so well last season. I was talking to Jackson last season. He was breaking all the records, left, right, and centre. Most VRL wins, most consecutive wins, 5 on the trot. The biggest points margin in a championship history. He won everything. And he comes into this season, and I think if I told you, Jake, with no previous knowledge, that Gil was reigning champion, you'd probably slap me silly.
It's surprising, but he's still incredibly fast to say he's just switched to wheel, and he seems a good enough driver that he will find that form back throughout the season. And in a wet race like this, I think being on wheel can definitely help you, because you can be a bit more accurate on occasion with the throttle.
Of course,
I think someone of his experience can definitely score points.
And I am of the belief it is in a bid to go and take F1 Esports up next year, so all of us from VR wish him the best of luck in that endeavour.
Absolutely. There's quite a few here who have dreams of F1 Esports. Certainly Benjamin will.
There's a lot of people who are very capable. I'm very impressed with the step of Benjamin. Not only that, of Karen though, VRT Karen. Last season he was in F2. He was probably overall the quickest driver throughout the season, but it wasn't by a huge margin to people saying me, and I'm certainly not F1 Esports caliber. But Karen's really stepped up, so he's done a good job. As has Benjamin. I think Tim Luke as well has made a really good step forward from last season. And let's not forget, it's only the second race. So much is to happen throughout this season. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible, Jake.
Definitely. As they come down the straight to start the race. Kerem I know from other leagues as well. He's part of one of the driver academies that I'm in, and the amount of effort he puts in is absolutely incredible. And it shows.
It does show, it does. Same with Benjamin as well. I raced with him at Mercedes. In this league, I'm an F2, he's an F1. So helpful, so good with everything, and I can't really say enough good words about the two of them, but got the drivers on the grid. I believe everyone's starting on the intermediate tyres. Jake,
Yeah, they will
if
be.
I call you Jackson in advance, I apologise.
That's
Very,
alright.
very easy to get mixed up.
Definitely. I like Jackson, good friend. But you've got me for today.
I'm not complaining. All the
As
drivers
ever.
on the grid then, Jake?
Definitely, as we wait for the lights to go out. As there we go, they start to rev up their engines. There's the first light, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. And it's lights out, and away they go. Very quaint off the line for a lot of them, but it looks like Benjamin has got away well. As a good start in third place for Kerem as well, fourth place even, as they're so gentle into turn one. There's a spinner, it's Kerem, and he's out of the race. And that is such an upset already. It's not going to be a safety car here. He lost it on the curb in turn one, and he was already going to be a victory contender. It looks like everyone else has kept it quite tidy. A 5-second penalty for VNM Drakartos. There's a virtual safety car deployed. But already, I don't know whether he made contact or he lost that by himself, but that was a huge upset, Alex.
Just replaying it on the stream, Jake, and what a shame for Kerem. There was a little bit of contact with the Alfa Romeo. I believe that's Nolan Lambert, who was somehow up in third. I don't know how he's made that. Was that a jump start, Jake?
Well, someone has a no, I don't believe it was. I think there's a timing glitch at the minute on the stream. It might be LR Nico who's in third, who of course did qualify high.
Of course.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
VRT Benjamin has got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. And so that is two big contenders already down in this race. It's going to be a long race. But that is not good for Benjamin, who's already pulled out a second to IGK Zach, but he is now going to drop right to the back of the grid. As
He's got
Racing.
3 laps now to absolutely get his foot down and go.
He does,
How much of a gap can he build up to Zach?
Definitely, everyone is really close to each other. It's very difficult to overtake in the wet. Wolfix DF is the last first car able to not be in the first DRS train. Harry B, Upmere, and Marcus Stoll, they're very close to each other. The McLaren wants to have a look at Tim Wentnick, but he's not going to be close enough. As VRT Benjamin is absolutely giving it everything he's got at the minute. That drive-through penalty is going to cost him. He wasn't on the optimal strategy last week though. He managed to win the race as they're side by side onto the straight, and Memes Virus smartly backs out against VRT Luke, and they're going to catch the Alfa Romeo of LR Nico here. It's fantastic racing as Kerem has left the session. It is very unfortunate for him.
Yeah, such a shame for Kerem. I have been watching back that incident. There won't be any investigation into that. Unfortunately, Kerem just drifted wide. Benjamin in the pits now.
There's contact between Luke and the Alfa Romeo of LR Nico, but Luke gets the move done and he moves himself up to second place. IGK Zach now with a pretty commanding lead in this race at this early point.
Yeah, that's
LR
a great
Nico
move around the outside. Great move from Luke.
Yeah.
He just missed out on the podium last week. I can see Memes Virus battling with Nico. As I said, if I am slightly behind, I'm watching through the stream. So just shut me up if you'd like, Jake.
It's alright. LR Nico keeps the position there. Tim Wentnick right there as well. But already we're seeing some big gaps. Safety car is out. Yeah, there was contact between the McLaren and Tim Wentnick. I believe that'll be for VNM Drakartos at the back, who... Oh, maybe not. I don't know. No, it's IGK Zach. Or is that a timing glitch? No, I believe he's still leading. It is a timing glitch, but my heart was in my mouth for a minute there. That's going to help Benjamin out as it puts him back on the back of the pack, but
yeah, that's better for Benjamin. Certainly not ideal. I'd love to know what happened. It's a shame for him, but he's got the pace. He's now got to keep it clean, and I'm quite surprised with how well the drivers navigated the opening couple of laps here.
It was very, very clean indeed. I saw very little contact, which is a lot better than most of the other leagues I've raced, but it just shows how careful and quick these drivers are. They know they need to keep their front wing to do well in this race. And that's unfortunate for IGK Zach, because he has what looks like a 2-second lead. There's a bit of a glitch on the timing screen, so it says he's only 300ths in front of VRT Luke. That definitely isn't the case. Safety cars need to mix things up. And now this, I don't know when the rain is going to stop. It's certainly still coming down at the minute, but the tyres are going to be absolutely freezing on the restart. So in many ways this could be more eventful than the first start.
Of course, it might benefit those who are catching up to the safety car. Maybe not so much, given they'll all be bunched up, but you know, if they've been pushing more recently, there might be a little bit more heat retained in them tyres, of which they can push on and you know, make a challenge for the positions further up.
Definitely. VNM Drakatos is the only car that isn't really with them at the minute. He seems to be struggling for whatever reason. He did come into the pits because he served his penalty. But that probably means we're going to get 2 more laps under the safety car at a minimum.
Sounds about right.
168 comments and I can't see any, so if you want to respond to some of those, I don't know.
I'll be responding to any questions. If you do have any questions for myself or Jake, please put them in the chat. Would like to clarify, if I seem a bit slow, it's not just me. I'm unable to join the session, so commentating through the live stream today.
I will send you another invite, Alex, as well, just in case.
I wouldn't bother, because we tried multiple times, but I'm doing what I can to put up with it. But we are just waiting. It would be great if we could find out what the weather's planning on doing.
Yeah. We'll have a look at who made positions at the start. VRT Luke had a good start, up 3 places, means Virus up 4, Marcus Fawley, I want to say, is up 4 as well. AVE Racing had the best start, up 5 places, but then Benjamin down 12 and Kerem out of the race. It's going to be an interesting race now for the rest of this, for sure.
Of course, of course. It's all about what the weather does.
Yeah.
What if anyone's doing a rain dance? Is anyone, taking their hair dryers out to the track and drying out a dry line? It's going to be interesting to see. I think if we do have transition to dry, it will be an absolutely stand-down finish.
I mean, it is very rare in F1 games that it stays the exact same weather when it's wet for the entire race. So maybe it'll get wetter, maybe it'll get dry, maybe it will stay the same, who knows.
I've heard 10 minutes of rain, then a transition to dry.
Ooh.
And I know there's a few of you asking in the chat. It didn't look like Nico actually made a mistake. It wasn't Nico's fault into turn 1. He was on the outside. Just seemed as Karen got on the curb, and that curb does spin you out when you get back on the power. Trust me, I did the same yesterday. Yeah. But Karen unfortunately looped it into the wall, whereas I was able to keep it out. So yeah, contact with the front right tyre sent Karen out the race. He is the first retirement of the VRL Baku Grand Prix. Surprisingly, everyone keeping it relatively clean in the opening couple of laps. There's IGK Zach. Yeah. He's driving F Formula 3 next year, I will say. I mentioned that last week. Leading the race. So congratulations to him. Luke on his tail and Nico up in third. I can't say for sure, but I'm 99% sure that Nico will not come under any scrutiny for that issue with Karen at turn 1.
Yeah. I didn't really see much, I just saw that the AlphaTauri spinning hood in it. He got a really good start initially, did Kerem, and then there's not a very long run to the first corner, so he sort of boxed back in and then perhaps spun on the curb. I don't really know, you've watched it more than I have. But,
yeah, I've seen it a few times back. I've just received Kerem's POV. You're right, he got such a strong start down the inside of Zach. Unfortunately for Kerem, if Nico kept going on the line he was going, he would have ended up in the wall, and you can't push a driver in the wall, so it's a shame for Karen, but he had more space to him to the left that he chose not to use and make contact, so there will be no investigation on that necessary, I can confirm, as head steward I believe, as I believe it shouldn't be too long until we're back under green flag racing, Jake. Yep. And if Karen is right, saying 10 minutes until the rain starts to dry up, maybe we won't have too many laps under the safety car, or after the safety car, before we start to see drivers strap on.
Safety car should be in this lap, for sure.
Yeah, so. the slick tyres, so assuming we have, well, let's say we're 8 minutes into the race, surely the rain's going to stop in, let's say 5 minutes. What sort of tyres do you think the drivers will be opting for? Maybe the medium, or maybe the hard? I don't think we'll see anyone go to the soft, because the soft absolutely burns out, but the medium or a soft could be, or the medium or the hard I should say, could be an interesting toss-up.
Even from this point of the race, you can get hards to the end, but the hard is not a good race, a quick tyre to drive anyway, and especially in the low grip conditions. You'll be losing a lot of time. The mediums, if you're very kind to it, can probably do 20 laps, but you have to be so kind to them the whole way through, and I'm not sure that's the direction people want to take. Safety car is indeed in this lap though, as they round the final proper corner. I don't know much about how IGK Zach likes to make his restarts, whether he's slow or quick.
I don't think I've seen him make a restart before, so it's the first for myself and Hugh. Jake. But you know, with Baku being it's got the longest straight, as you mentioned, 2.1 kilometers.
Yeah.
A lot of time to think about what he wants to do. Remember, no one can overtake until the safety car line, which is the start-finish line.
Definitely. I mean, you tend to see people go a little bit later at tracks with longer straights because the start-finish line is so far up on this track, as he can go as late as he wants, and if he goes earlier, more chance for a slipstream from the car behind. It's very...
Of course, but the thing is, they've got to time it right from the car behind. If they go too early, and you're right, he has gone. If they go too early, and the car behind is right behind them, and then making a move before the start-finish line, they've then got to pull back, which leaves them at risk for the car behind. So, quite tactical, and a good restart from Zach, as I believe
means Virus, yeah, goes round the outside of LR Nico. Good move from him. I don't think there's too many crashes further back, nice and tidy.
Strong on the brakes from Red Bull. There, classic, as you come to expect from real life.
Oh, there's a crash, and it's one of the Renaults, it's IGK Quill, and he's taken heavy racing with him. I don't know whether they made contact, or whether he just lost it by himself. I don't know whether he's got wing damage. I don't have the TAS on at the minute. Maybe you do.
I don't, because I'm not in the lobby, but yeah, Gill spun around, contact with a Vesta.
As Tim Wentnick is battling very hard with the McLaren and Marcus Stoller, who looks very quick in these conditions, as Will has lost his end plate, so he's probably going to have to pit. Although maybe he'll just wait it out for the dry conditions, who knows.
Don't expect it to be too long. I think the rain might have stopped actually, judging from the stream.
It has stopped. It's still a wet track. I don't know if this track takes long to dry or not. Oh, as VRT Luke just strokes the wall, there's a yellow flag in Sector 2. It's Memes Virus. Oh, and he's crashed in the castle section, and there's debris all over the place. A virtual safety car, and there's going to be several cars, I think, with damage from that. I didn't see what happened, whether he made contact. He was very close to LR Nico.
That was a reset to track as well for Memes, so he's going to come under a penalty there. It was the reset to track in the space or in the vicinity of other cars, so that's surely going to be at least an investigation. Memes, there were people on the chat saying how well he's going.
Yeah, he has kept his front wing, but with that post-race penalty, that's not going to be good.
Probably looking at a 10-second time penalty for Virus there.
He was
running so well. He's doing the F2 name proud, and I've said so many times to Jackson, or whoever I've been on commentary with, the experience, although the F2 drivers are slightly slower than the F1 drivers, the experience, the real life first-hand experience they get from racing the day before, knowing what to do with the car, where to put it, counts a long way in these races. As we've seen, Memes had a good start.
As well, I wonder if they're switching to dry tyres. It's Tim Wentnick and Marcus Stoller. Oh, they're changing their front wings. They got caught up with Meme Virus. They are, though, pitting for the hard compound tyres. So they're going to be the first cars on the slicks. It still looks wet. There's still some sweat produced. VRT Benjamin was side by side with Nolan Lambert, who's also managed to get the Renault of ACSE 477. He had a great restart. Meanwhile, the gap at the front is 1.7 seconds, and there's a big gap from VRT Luke to LR Nico. So at the minute, it looks like Zach and Luke will be the ones battling for this race win.
Yeah, Benjamin's on the softest, on the freshest tyres, I should say, in the top 8, because he did pit when he had the chance to.
Lambert, though, he's also on 2 laps.
Of course, he is. So that could count for quite a lot, given, as we mentioned at the start of the stream, we do tend to see a bit of a mistake there from Nolan Lambert. He is under pressure of the Renault. We do tend to see
these guys on the dry tyres and see if they're struggling.
Yeah, of course, let's keep an eye.
Oh.
So, hard tyres for Tim, medium tyres for Marcus. Maybe just have a look at the gap to the leader so we can really get a relative, but it does not look comfortable on that onboard of Tim.
It doesn't at all. Any battles at the front, there certainly is. VRT Benjamin is close to the back of SCSE, he's even closer to the back of Nolan Lambert. He's going to try down the inside into that corner as Dracatos comes up the inside of Benjamin. ACSE was squeezed out, and Benjamin, having gone looking like he might lose the position, actually gains one from that. He lost the position to Nolan Lambert under the virtual safety car restart, but he may well get it up this straight here. And having served a drive-through and have been at the very back of the field after lap 1, as he makes the move in a very dangerous part of the track. But Nolan Lambert doesn't have the grip.
I don't know if Nolan Lambert does have damage. Front end plate damage must have been as contact as a result of maybe that move on
5 wide. Some cars are going to come into the pits here. Oh, a late decision, and the Alfa Romeo hit his wing off even more. VRT Benjamin's back up to 2nd place then. In the
DRS is enabled now. DRS is enabled. Nolan Lambert did hit his wing on the way in. So here
Zach
comes Tim. This is where Tim. Of course, so Zach's timed that right. Luke and Benjamin could have done with pitting much earlier, but Luke has got a 10-second gap on Benjamin, so he should be safe. Now, the question is, where's Tim? Has he lost much time in all of this? And it looks like he has.
And IGK Zach has gone onto the medium compound tyres. He's got 19 laps to do on those. That's not going to be an easy task. Most of the cars are on the hards. Marcus Thorle's on medium, so is Wolfix Tibura. And Nolan Lambert, who must have had to change swing because he's come out in the very back of the pack. And Zach is, I would say, gaining actually. It looks like he's, yeah, he is gaining as he goes down there.
Yeah, certainly taking a few tenths out. It took him a while because them tyres are getting up to temperature, but I have to say now he's certainly getting on that gapper. It's sort of hovering. He's not necessarily reeling in quickly. Well, there we go as it starts to fall. So dry tyres definitely the tyres to be on at the moment. And what an opportunity this has provided to Luke and Nick. He is up in 6th right now, but that's an effective P2 for the Racing Point.
Yeah, it is. Although if Luke pits this lap, I don't think he's lost enough time to lose that position. Though he'll certainly be out in P3 because Benjamin is, of course.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Of course.
It'll be a very interesting battle for the rest, though, because I'm imagining Luke's going to pit for hards now. Oh, as he nearly loses it, just about keeps it together through there. IGK Zach's not just going to get those tyres to the end of the race by driving normally. He's going to have to drive a little bit conservatively.
Maybe he's banking on a safety car.
Yeah. Well, you would expect it.
Because if he gets a safety car, you would expect it. If he gets a safety car, it's the yellow flag in Sector 2, I'm not sure what that's for. Jake, if he gets a safety car, having softer tyres is going to benefit him massively.
He does indeed pit for the hard compound tyres. VFT Benjamin, I'm imagining, does as well. And means Virus as Nolan Lambert retires from the session. That is on track as well. I don't think it's going to be a safety car here. Oh, there was VM Drew Kivirtos close to the back of Wolfix Tibura. Into the lead of the race then goes AV Racing because he hasn't pitted. IGK Zach is going to breeze past him down the straight though. And Luke has actually gained. He was 1.7 seconds before the pit stops. It's now 1.1 seconds. IGK Zach is on quicker tyres for the time being.
I'm not entirely sure to why Vesta's still out.
Yeah, well, his teammate pitted on the last lap, but it makes no sense because he's going to lose so much time now on these intermediate tyres.
He's going to hold up Luke slightly through this middle sector.
And here's Luke gets the move done into the chicane.
He's just going to drive past him, isn't he? It's almost as if he's not there. But as you said, Luke, closer now, and them tyres for Luke certainly can easily go to the end. The question now is, he can't afford to lose too much time to Zach, and let Zach just sit back and drive at 15% and get them tyres to the end. Luke has to
Benjamin
keep the pressure on Zach.
is back up to a net P3 in this race.
He is.
It's absolutely brilliant from him.
Things certainly since that drive, I've had people in the chat saying Ben's lucky. Things haven't gone his way. You know, he got a drive-through. We know that drive-throughs can be a little bit. As I see Harry
interrupt you here, but means Virus is right on the back of Harry B. Backs out of it. You can carry on. Sorry. Oh,
yeah,
he goes down the
apologize.
inside. Oh, sorry. But has to back out of it. He's very aggressive today, having made that mistake earlier.
Mimzara is looking to make up for lost time earlier on. If he keeps going like that, I wouldn't be surprised if he finds a wall. But as you said, yeah, it's important for Luke to keep the pressure on Zach. But Benjamin as well, you know, things haven't all gone his way. It hasn't all been VRT Benjamin's way today, and he's slowly
another car crashed through the castle section. Virtual safety car is deployed, which is going to help AVE Racing here as he comes into the pits.
He's lost so much time. He's going to be out in 12th, I think, anyway.
Yeah, but he would have been a lot less, a lot further down even without that virtual safety car. We'll see where he does come out. I think
so I guess this safety car kind of lets everyone just calm down a little bit. You know, they can you know, conserve the fuel, conserve the ERS.
El Nico gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. He was in here.
For the second time today, we've had a driver get a drive-through penalty. We have seen they're a little bit inconsistent on this game, but I've never seen it this bad.
Yeah, we're back underway. Memes Virus has got the move on Harry B. He's on the mediums, Harry's on the hards, that makes sense. Sorry I didn't catch that on stream. I couldn't react in time. IGK is out. Let's go on board with him for a little bit because there aren't too many battles on track at the minute. Although in saying that, 12th, 13th and 14th are separated by less than a second. This will be very interesting indeed. IGK Gwill, he spun earlier, still with a good chance of points because 3 cars already are out of this race.
The fact we're talking about Gill having a good chance for points is it doesn't quite sit right with me. But they are closing on that is a Vesta who is getting them tyres up to temperature still. Let's not forget hard tyres.
It's the wall. He's going to have damage for sure.
Yeah, that's certainly damage on the outside.
Yeah.
You see his end plate come off.
So Will should get himself up to 12th place. Altmaier behind, struggling to stay with him. Always Lucan and Memes Virus are very close to each other. Those medium tyres really working in these low grip conditions at the minute. Lucan hits the wall actually. I think he'll get away without damage. DRS is enabled. He's got enough overtake to get this move done. Memes Virus, who may have a post-race penalty coming his way, but it's still been a very good drive so far. Looks to the outside here. He's just the fastest lap of the race. Goes round the outside, leaves the space, and a lock-up on the inside, and Lucan could do nothing about it. A good move from the Red Bull.
Of course, congratulations to Memes Virus up in 4th. He's getting a move on, and matching his finish in F2 yesterday is a 4th position, I believe. But as you say, I believe Marcus
retires. Oh, was that in the pit lane? It was. Sorry there, I got a little bit excited. I thought it was higher in the order.
So we're already 10 laps down into this race. IGK Zach leads. However, given he's got softer tyres, he's not making the gap he really needs to make it to Luke to have enough comfortability in the final stint to conserve them tyres. He needs more of a gap than this.
He does. The medium tyres are working for Memes Virus and for Marcus Stoller, who set the fastest lap of the race not long ago. Maybe he's just thinking in the long term though, and not using the tyres now, and just keeping them so he can be more sort of level throughout the stint.
Apologies to everyone on the stream. We're not able to run tasks today as I've not been able to get into the lobby, so requesting it on the chat won't get you too far, unfortunately. We'll do our best to keep you updated though. And Benjamin is certainly doing a good job. He's quicker than the leader at the moment.
He is. I don't know whether he'll be driving angry because of that drive-through penalty. They can get you very frustrated, but he's driving well. I'm going to put the gaps to each other back on so we can see the battles are on track, and the battles are between Harry and Luke and Nick. As VRT Luke has the fastest lap of the race on those hard tyres. He's got some pace, and Benjamin goes and beats that. Benjamin is closing in big time as Harry goes past Lucan, who doesn't really fight it. I think he knows he just needs to get some good points today and maybe keep those tyres alive for longer. If another safety car comes out though, everyone's going to be bunched back up. This will be a very exciting finale.
Yeah, Benjamin's taken over 2 seconds out of Luke in the last lap, so I'm not sure if Luke just had a poor lap. But that gap between Luke and Zach has stayed the same, so maybe they both made mistakes.
Maybe Benjamin is genuinely 2 seconds a lap quicker, which would be incredible.
I'd be surprised, but I'd be also quite perplexed. But Benjamin, certainly looking in the driver's seat at the moment. But what a story this is for Luke if he can win the race. Those who watched VRL Season 4, the race here, Luke was leading with 2 laps to go. He got a glitch at that cheeky little left-hander down the hill where he got stuck on the wall. He didn't touch the wall, but he got stuck on the wall and it stopped him, and that cost him the win. Can he get redemption today? Is it redemption day for Luke? Or is Benjamin going to spoil the party? Or can Zach? Is he just sitting nicely on his tyres? That's not out of the question. He could just be sat there, conserving the tyres, doing what the tyres want him to do, and just be sitting on a decent pace, because his pace isn't bad. He's maintaining that gap to Luke. It's not going really anywhere other than a tenth up and down here and there.
There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. There's a big crash in the castle section for VNM Drakatos, who has kept the car going.
For a second time, Drakatos off.
You're saying Drakatos, I'm saying Drakatos. I don't know which is right. I apologise if you're watching. As Zach responds with the fastest lap of the race.
Still, that gap to Luke didn't really change. 1.9 going into this lap, 1.9 coming out of this lap, so...
McLaren of Marcus Stoller making his medium tyres work, up to 7th place now. He'll look to chase after the racing point.
The question is with these medium tyre runners is if they can just keep the tyres alive. Because if they can't, it's certainly going to work out. Because it does seem that the medium tyres are the tyres to be on at the moment. But looking at the pace of Zach almost gives the indication that they're a little bit worried about these tyres making the end. Because as you mentioned, 19 laps is a bit of a shift for the tyres to be put with.
Yeah, well, yesterday I started on the medium tyres in VRL F2 for reference. I use ABS, so I lock up less, which would, in theory, state that I have better tyre wear. and after 15 laps they were on 60%, and I'd driven pretty much my own race with no one battling the whole race, so it's not going to be easy to take them to the end.
There are some factors in that. That was earlier on in the race.
It was.
More fuel on the car, so these guys will have...
There was no safety car during that period either. Maybe that was.
Of course, 5-10 laps of fuel, so maybe these medium tyres are accustomed, but it's all about the setups. You know, do the setups benefit the tyres, or do they absolutely cook them? Are they one lap pace? Which I feel as if we saw a little bit from Benjamin last week. You know, he was so good in qualifying.
I crashed through the castle section. It's AVU Racing this time.
Vesta's off.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned in qualifying, it's no surprise, but the castle section catching driver's eye. I think we've had more today than we had in F2 yesterday, Jake.
Yeah. I think that's the 4th separate car to crash at that point. I don't think there were too many cars behind him, but we're only one position off the points now as Benjamin. 7/10 quicker even than the previous fastest lap. He is absolutely flying at the minute. And
Benjamin's really closing in.
Yeah, he's gonna catch Luke by the end of the race. At this race, I think the medium tyres are already starting to drop off a little bit, because you saw Marcus Thorley charging his way through the field a few laps ago, and he made his way past ASE 477 pretty easily, but ASE 477 has now caught back up and is going to go through. I'm just going to call him the Renault. That's a difficult.
I was going to say it might be easy to just call him the Renault, but it might be because of the DRS. You know, we can see the Renault's got a lot of ERS to expend. He might just be sat in the DRS because Marcus isn't necessarily losing time as he does defend into turn 3 from the Renault, locks up slightly, manages to keep it out of the wall. I don't think we're seeing a drop off yet, because look at the gap at the front. 3 seconds now the gap between Zach and between Zach and Luke. Luke slower than Ben, but Ben also slower than Zach at this moment in time. What is important for the Renault team, as you mentioned, we've got one driver up in 8th, another driver, Gil, believe it or not, pressurising for the points. They had no points last time out. They're going to want to kickstart their championship or their season to hopefully move up the championship standings.
It's my F2 team, so I have to support them.
Guess I'm rooting for Mercedes then. Tim, just a little sit rep for the Mercedes fans. Yeah, Tim in a little bit on his own, if I'm honest. 6.4 seconds off the next car. It's not gone Tim's way today. It really has it.
I mean, this is a track that a lot of drivers don't like and a lot of drivers love, and if it suits your driving style, you can find a lot of time here compared to someone who it doesn't. Bahrain, he was very quick. In ARC, other leagues, he's been contending for race wins very often at tracks like Austria and France. This is a completely different track to that, so maybe he is struggling very slightly. There's another crash in the castle section, and actually it's a car out of the race. It's VNM Draketos now out. He's a crash too many. A virtual safety car comes out. It's not going to affect too much here. There's a 5th car out of the race though.
It's more for tyre wear, I have to say. It's more for tyre wear it affects. I don't think we'll see anyone pit, but Luke is really dropping back. Not just under the safety car, even before.
Interestingly.
Yeah,
damage.
I mean, with Tim, he may as well. You know, he was on the verge of the points anyway. Put some fresh tyres on and see what you can do from there, because he didn't have a tyre advantage. Now he does have a tyre advantage, so fair play to him. That's going to put Gil up into 10th. So Gil in the points, believe it or not, Gil running in the points for the first time this season. I know.
He's the only car within a second of another car on track. Field spread is pretty bad at this track, just due to that middle sector. It can be quite difficult to follow, but he's been right behind LR Nico for a long time now. I
expect the move to be made relatively soon. I'm just looking at Luke. I'm not sure if he's got some damage, Jake, because he's...
I'll go off board and see if he... No, it doesn't look like he does, but maybe... He's losing a lot of time to Benjamin.
And Zach as well. That gap's doubled in the last 4 laps. Maybe he's got some you know, minor damage. The little light green element.
Yeah, he doesn't have as much ERS as the other two. But that wouldn't really affect you as much as it has done. I don't know.
But it's really good for Zach, this, because he can sit on this. He's got a 4-second gap, 9 seconds to Benjamin, and I don't want to. I'm not gonna put any commentator's curse on it, but Zach's looking good so far. But it's VRL, it's Baku. Anything can happen in the last 10 laps here.
And those front tyres already look less than new, as you would expect after 7 laps on them. The rear tyres are the ones that you would worry about.
Just watching his steering inputs though, it looks very, very careful. He does look like he knows what he's doing, as you'd expect being a real life racing driver. He looks as if he's just sort of coaxing the car into the corners, saying, come on, in you go, and then throttle back out. He's very gentle on the power, doing everything right at the moment. IGK Zach's searching for his second win, I believe, in VRL.
There's a memes virus starting to struggle on those medium tyres. Harry back in the DRS of him. Wheels actually dropped outside of the DRS of Hello Nico's Air Racing. That's the quickest lap of the race on fresh medium tyres. I'd expect Tim Wentnick to take that off him quite soon. Everyone just in that tyre saving phase at the minute now. Towards the last 6 or 7 laps of the race, that's when we're going to see people, I think, start really pushing to overtake the car ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think in the last couple of laps we're going to see a lot of drivers start to merge towards each other. I expect Harry B to launch an attack on memes in the coming laps. It's going to be really important for Harry to not make a mistake. Remember, he did last week. I believe he picked up a few points for the Williams team. Currently though, Williams looking at a really good points haul potentially. In best case scenario right now, it's first and fourth for the Williams team, which gives a total of, bear with me here, I believe that is 37 points.
Yeah,
37 points. You've got a yellow flag in sector 2, I'm not sure who that is. Is that a Red Bull? I think it is a Red Bull Avesta.
Yeah, it is. Crashed in the castle section. He's already a victim of it once, and he's done it again, and he has completely lost the right hand side of his front wing. He's going to be in the pits again. Perhaps he was pushing for another fastest lap. Tim Wentnick, I think, will come across the line now to set a new fastest lap of the race. He does, 41.6. Not bad at all.
So if he can get into the top 10, he will get a point for the fastest lap of the race. Well, they get a point anyway if he finishes outside, because we do run the rule for fastest lap outside the top 10. However, it looks like we might not have many finishes outside the top 10 today, Jake.
Yeah. Which I technically had yesterday, but I invalidated my lap so it didn't count, which was annoying, so that's not fun. As Benjamin inside 4 seconds of Luke now, who's started to just bring that gap. Oh god, get your words right here, Jakey. He started to not lose as much time every lap now to IG Kegwell, and actually was quicker than him through the middle sector. Yeah,
he's sort of become a little bit more confident. I feel as if he wasn't quite as confident. Maybe the track is properly dry now. And Benjamin as well is consistently closing on Luke. I expect Benjamin to be right on the back of Luke in about 4 or 5 laps time, given the pace he's closing in at the moment. Maybe a little bit longer.
Might want to have a little look on Memes Virus here. As Meme Virus pits, he's not taking those mediums to the end.
Well, that's a precursor. He's 2 laps fresher tyres than Zach.
Yeah.
So, to be fair, Zach
he had
has
damage.
been able to...
That's why he pitted.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is a real shame for him.
Didn't look like he had huge damage, just looking at the front wing. Just a little bit on the end plate. Fair enough. I mean, he had a big gap, so he must have been somewhat concerned about the tyres. Because I think he could have stayed out and probably slotted in behind Harry to finish, maybe ahead of Luke and Nick. But I have to say, what a drive from Luke and Nick so far. He's gone under the radar today, running 5th. He qualified outside the top 10. I wouldn't have given him a shot at points, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and he's done a very good drive indeed, and the car behind him on those medium tyres is not really going to be a threat towards the end of the race. So if he can just keep it out of the barriers, that's a very good finish for him. 9 laps to go. Looks good for Zach so far. Although Luke has really brought that gap back down. Look, it's 2 seconds now. Actually, Zach made a mistake. He has. I think he's got damage. He has. He's lost his wing.
Oh no!
Completely. And Luke's going to take the lead of the race. That is, I presume, through the castle section. I didn't see a yellow flag.
Oh no, Zach! It was looking so good! So good for the Williams team, but it's all gone.
VRT Luke takes the lead of the race, and IGK Zach needs to be careful not to crash into the pit lane, which I did in another league qualifying with no front wing yesterday. He does touch the wall, but it's not going to lose his wheel, and that might even put him outside of the points. How unfortunate. He's driven so well so far, but now we're going to see a good battle for the race win between VRT Luke and VRT Benjamin.
I'm getting deja vu from last season, Jake. It's Luke in the lead. He left, well, not last season, 2 seasons ago. Wow, I've lost track. 2 seasons ago indeed, from season 4. I forget we're on season 5 already. Season 6. Oh, I can't count. Luke, now with the AlphaTauri team, fingers crossed. I'm rooting for Luke to win this race. 2.5 seconds. Can he maintain that gap to Ben and hold on to claim his second win in Vero, the first of the season?
As bad as that mistake was from Zach, whatever happened, he has still got a good chance of a podium on those fresh soft compound tyres, which should make it to the end of the race now. He's only about 10 seconds off Harry B, who's made his way up to third after a strong drive so far, and Luke and Nick in fourth. Great stuff.
Of course, thankfully Zach had that gap he was sitting on, so it's not ideal. He's obviously still going to be a little bit miffed if he comes home third, but it's still good points for him and the team. It's not like he's wiped himself out of the race, that's the thing. But Benjamin, I'm going to be honest, when we had that safety car and he had 15 cars to overtake, I don't think I would have pictured myself saying this, but Ben is arguably in a very good position to win this race.
He has still got to close in 2 seconds. He did, I saw that. He hasn't got damage, I've just had a little look, or no visible damage at least. Marcus Stoller also pitted. And now he's right on the back of Tim Wentnick through the castle section. This is for the final point of the race, which is important for these teams.
More McLaren, I'd say, than Mercedes, because Mercedes have got a driver right up the thick end.
Zach is right behind ACSE as well, and he's going to get him and be back up to fifth down the straight. There's no point in the Renault fighting this position. Maybe he will do. Opens the DRS, looks to the right hand side, and he's going to be well ahead by the time they get to the braking zone. As Marcus and Tim, I would imagine a similar thing is going to happen here. Marcus to the inside. Tim hits the wall, which is not good for him. Weaving all over the place. Tim doesn't want to lose this position. But there's not much you can do about it on such a long straight like this. VRT Benjamin, 2/10 he gained on the last lap to VRT Luke. Go on board with him for a little bit while there's no battles on the track and see if he can close that gap down.
Yeah, he's a couple of tenths a lot quicker at the moment. Ben, he needs a little bit more. You feel if he can get the DRS by lap 25, there's 2 DRS zones at this track. If he can get the DRS, that might be enough to pull him up close enough to have a run at the final, on the final straight. But I feel as if that's as late as Ben can leave it.
Yeah, I think the sooner the better. He doesn't want to do it too soon though, because his pace at the moment doesn't look good enough that he'd be able to pull a gap to Luke over 1 lap. So maybe he's got to think about that as well. With a safety car now though, if his hit comes around lap 22, Zach's still in a very good position to win this race on those soft compound tyres.
Of course, it's a VRT 1-2. Luke leading Benjamin. Luke's led his first laps of the season today, looking for his first win since all the way back in USA, round 11 of season 4. It's been a while for Luke. Had a poor season last time at Mercedes, and he's got his old car chasing him down for the win here at Baku.
Benjamin is really gaining against the 10th just through the first couple of corners, although it goes a little bit wide, so we'll just leave that. On the next straight, they've got very similar amounts of VRS as well. IGK Zach predictably sets the fastest lap of the race in that clear air, a 1:40.8. Good lap from him. He's only 1 point.
Closing out on Luke and Nick.
Yeah, I do think he is going to at least get 4th in this race, which is not what we would have wanted if he'd said that to him 5 laps ago. But it would still be a very respectable finish based on where he qualified.
Of course, still an improvement, I think. Well, did he qualify second? He did.
Yeah, he did.
So not quite an improvement, but could have gone catastrophically worse. And as I said at the start of the stream, it's only round 2. You've got the whole season ahead of you, so it's not like you've absolutely blown it. TRTC is the same. Ben would have dominated without drive-through. That's questionable. I think things have gone Ben's way since that. At the same time, let's not diminish. The drive he's done so far has been astounding, and getting past Luke and winning would absolutely cap it off.
And he is gained by another 3/10 just through the second 2 sectors of this lap. Highest position mover is Luke and Nick, although he's got IGK Zach right on the back of him now. I wonder if he'll fight this position.
I can't imagine he would too much. He can't afford to lose too much time, because he might come under a little bit of threat from Nico if he does make a mistake. So look at Nick, he can afford to just, you know, turn his ERS off, or, you know, turn his ERS not an overtake, turn his fuel down, save a bit of fuel, And if he's lucky, sit in the DRS of Zach for a lap or two, and
Yeah.
maybe even pull him along to the top flight.
He doesn't fight the position, predictably. He'll get the DRS for the second straight. Big lock-up from Zach, but it doesn't hurt you too much at this track.
Gap at the front now, 1.2 seconds.
ACSE and LR Nico touched there. Sorry, I completely missed. Oh, and there's contact, big contact. LR Nico punts ACSE into the wall. And that looked bad from the Alfa Romeo, just went too deep on the brakes. You're the steward here, I'll have your take on it, but that didn't look pretty.
Yeah, looking it back on the stream, I don't think there's much of an argument there for Nico. I hope, for ACSE's sake, that he doesn't have damage.
We can go on board and have a look. I do believe he's lost his right end plate just based on that. No, he hasn't. Although Guil has actually got a good chance of top 6 now with that penalty.
Yeah, Gil right on the back of Nico.
Yeah,
I don't
1.2
think that was
seconds is the
malicious.
gap at the front now as well. No, I don't think
Yeah,
he meant
Luke's
to.
held that from where it was at the start. I don't think, sorry, I don't think that was malicious from Nico. I think he just outbroke himself, as you can have, not running any line.
Unfortunately.
But yeah, I'm sure he'll come under some investigation for that. But Gil right on the back of his team now.
Yeah, and they will be. Zach's right on the back of his teammate as well. As Harry crashed, he has. Harry's lost his wing, and IGK Zach's
Another
back
Williams.
on the podium. Yeah, he's not lost as much of his. He's not lost as much of it as Zach has. But he's
He'll still have to
probably
pit,
going to
he'll
have to
surely
pit,
have
yeah.
to pit.
And I think
Yeah.
he's going to drop outside of the points this time. That's going to promote Gil up to I think a net P5 after everything's
I
happened.
think he'll drop to 10th because there's a big gap between Tim and Marcus.
Yeah, still in the points, but what they would have wanted. And that is going to give Luke and Nick a brilliant P4 in this race that at the minute doesn't look under too much threat. So a great drive from him.
The Williams absolutely fell apart today. They could have easily had a double podium
Definitely.
had things have gone their way.
Marcus Thorley on the back of Means Virus on those fresh soft compound tyres. I think he's going to move his way up to 8th, probably wait till this next straight to do it. Got very little ERS. Means Virus has got a little bit more. The DRS is also very powerful. As the gap at the front is under a second, VRT Benjamin having been at the back of the field after speeding under the virtual safety car, 20 seconds off the lead. He is now in the DRS of VRT Luke to try and win this race and complete what would have been an absolutely fantastic drive. But Luke will want to win this race as well. He's also driven quite brilliantly, and this should be a
I was
fantastic
going to
finish.
say, it's not said and done. It's not said and
not.
done. The DRS is powerful, but it doesn't gift you the position. Benjamin on the edge of it right now doesn't have all the ERS in the world. He's not giving it away to
He
charity.
has more than Luke though. He's got very little, which is not good.
This is looking a bit dangerous for Luke now. He
It is.
needs to shake off Benjamin.
Benjamin
He almost
here.
needs to
He
hope
is
for a
in the
mistake.
overtake.
There's not long left.
Yeah,
Can
Benjamin.
Luke hold on?
I'm not going to go for the move there. I think he's just going to take his time and try and force Luke into a mistake. If Racing gets another fastest lap of the race. A lock up from Luke. Incredible pressure on now. They both touch the wall just a little bit. In fact, this might be the move. Benjamin's opening the overtake. He's going to go to the inside. Nothing Luke can do about it. Can he try and outbrake him round the outside? Surely he's not going to make it. They've made contact. Luke hits the front wing. He might have lost a little bit there, but VRT Benjamin, no matter what, has now taken the lead of the race, having been last at one point. What a brilliant drive from the Mercedes. So much pace today after a good pole position. And Luke will try and hang on for a podium, stay in that DRS. He certainly looks like he'll have the pace to.
You can't say Ben hasn't earned this. You can't say he hasn't grafted for it. But can Luke be smart? Can he just sit there with Benjamin? Don't get a penalty. If one of these drivers gets a penalty, you've given away the win. Full stop.
Definitely.
So they've got to keep it clean and
There we
really
go.
get a move on.
First
But
penalty of the race for Ev Racing. Interestingly, as you say that, but that's not one of the
I've
penalties.
just seen that on the stream, but it just feels as if Luke might have overcooked his tyres slightly.
He is actually going to be out of the DRS. The gap is 1.1 seconds as they enter the straight here. And I think as long as Benjamin doesn't make a mistake now, he's going to win this race.
And what a win it will be indeed.
Oh, as Gil gets the penalty as well. He is in 6th, now a legitimate 6th. Will be a 5th if Nico gets a penalty. He's got the gap behind, because I think ACSE has got some damage, which is a shame for him.
Of course. And with that, Memes Varus and Marcus Dowlett are both closing on him at a rate of knots.
Yeah, they're also closing in on each other. At
They
a
are.
fast pace as well.
They are, so they're going to merge together. That seems to be the closest battle on track at the moment.
It
We
does
do
look
expect
on board.
Gil to get past Nico as a result of post-race penalties.
Yeah. 3 laps to go for the leaders then. And you would expect Marcus Stoller won't have to work too hard to get to me. He's got 0% ERS though, he's been really aggressive on it. And it means Virus can just use the 22% overtake he's got to probably keep this position here. Maybe he won't fight it, the McLaren has got the speed. Will he dive down the inside? No. Means Virus breaks later, no lockups for either of them, which is surprising. He's got a few laps to do this yet, he's got better tyres than Marcus Stoller, so maybe he will get him on the second straight. These are the only two, amazingly, still in the DRS here. They're still in a thrilling race so far. He's got a little bit of overtake, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to get the move done there, so I'll have to wait till the next straight around VRT Benjamin. Now 2 seconds clear of VRT Luke in the lead of the race. Brilliant form from the Mercedes.
Luke must have had some damage, he must have.
Yeah, or his tyres have just completely gone. He did have a ghost car to deal with that lap, a lapped car. Maybe that would have cost him some time, who knows. Although he lost 4/10 just into that final braking zone, which would maybe infer he's got some damage we can't quite see. Means Virus gets a penalty as well. Mistakes are starting to happen.
Yeah, I've heard from Ballon on the chat that Luke does have damage. That's such a shame for Luke.
What a shame.
It explains it. But,
It does.